All right. Hi, my name is Lauren Antri Boysiaco.
I'm Amory Dorr.
I'm Hannah Oberoy.
I'm Victoria Whittington, and this is our Core 2 Project podcast.
Larissa and Apple have been best friends ever since Larissa moved from Argentina to the States. Apple was by her side from day one, even before Larissa can only speak Spanish. Over the years, Larissa had become extremely proficient in speaking, reading, and writing English. She never lost touch with her Spanish-speaking or Argentinian roots, and when she decided to get a buzz cut, Apple was by her side through it all. Apple just spent 2 months at skateboarding camp where she met Jordan, and today she's going to introduce Larissa to Jordan. Larissa and Apple could hardly contain their excitement as they ran up to each other in the outdoor cafe. It has been over 2 months since they last hung out, and they've been anticipating this day. Apple was still squealing when Jordan laughed and said, "I thought your friend was a girl." Larissa cocked her head to the side and gave Apple a disappointing look, saying, "Are you kidding me right now?" Apple apologized for Jordan, and they all sat down to order when Larissa unzipped her jacket, revealing a messy number 10 Argentina soccer jersey. Jordan then noticed the jersey and immediately began shouting, "How could you even wear that knowing the US lost to them today? This is America, and you're an American, so start acting like it." Larissa sat there, mouth open and in complete disbelief. Apple knew this wasn't the friend she had just spent the last 2 months with at skateboarding camp.
A teary-eyed Larissa felt a surge of relief. She initially worried that she wouldn't be able to stick up for herself without making it seem like she was criticizing Jordan. She feared what Apple would think. When her best friend stood up for her, at that moment, Larissa knew nothing had changed. Her best friend had her back like always. When Jordan had angrily pointed out everything wrong with Larissa's shirt, it was none other than Larissa's amygdala that was responsible for her quick shift in emotion. Her positive mood instantly shifted towards anger and fear. Larissa was displaying signs of increased arousal, feelings that are frequently constructed as anxiety, nervousness, or fear. Apple too felt uncomfortable and worried when Jordan made those hurtful comments. She felt as though if she could just move on from his first comment, but after the second one, Apple knew her friend wouldn't be okay. Her pulse accelerated and she began to have increased feelings of anger towards Jordan. Meanwhile, as the victim of the comments, Larissa withdraws due to her entering a state of panic.
Apple's hypothalamus was filled with enough aggression necessary enough to confront Jordan without any fear, and in part to rescue her friendship with Larissa. Initially, Apple began trying to make Jordan see how her comments negatively impacted Larissa. Apple recalled how these microaggressions could cause Larissa's self-esteem and confidence to be depleted, while her self-doubt and alienation would have increased instead, which explained Larissa's amygdala being alert with fear. Anyway, after Apple's hippocampus signaled her with this discovery that she had made last night, and after trying to convince Jordan to consider her perspective, Jordan suddenly became even more defensive and aggressive. Jordan began to explain how, "Oh, you should be taking whatever I said personally. Just because I assumed Larissa's gender based on her weird dressing sense, that doesn't mean I was being rude. Speaking of clothes, I, on the other hand, took offense to how someone could disrespect the US like that. Like, I understand that Larissa is from Argentina, but honestly, that doesn't mean she can wear whatever she wants to in the US, especially when we just lost to Argentina. Also, why are you speaking up for her? If she has a problem with the way I spoke to her, then she needs to say something herself." After bearing through this horrendous rant, Apple's hypothalamus was now filled up with the fear of losing Larissa's and Jordan's friendship because of the way Jordan spoke to her. As a result, Apple began noticing how her physiological response towards this stressful situation included sweat beads forming on her forehead, her heart racing a mile per minute, and her pupils dilating, all due to the sympathetic nervous system in her brain begging her fight or flight stimulus to be activated. She felt as if she needed hurt Jordan as much as he hurt Larissa, or take Larissa and take the situation entirely. However, Apple knew deep down Jordan just wants everyone to love America and feel accepted, but this isn't the right way to achieve that.
Apple could no longer bear the guilt of how Jordan's remarks toward Larissa were left unanswered and undefended. As the shame she had felt started to grow, so did her need to fix her friendships. Apple began reflecting how a mechanism such as the bisocial social model would utilize all aspects of positive reappraisal in conjunction with emotional, biological/physiological, and psychological stressors in order to effectively handle stress more adequately. Apple identified Jordan's cruel words as a microaggression and recalled what to do when faced in a situation like this. She knew educating the perpetrator can stimulate an ongoing discussion about the beliefs behind the statement. Apple took a deep breath and explained to Jordan that creating a democratic society rests squarely on the ability to consider oneself in relation to diverse others. She indicated how, as a nation open to the idea of liberty, equality, and ultimately justice, that one must always be open towards other people who have diverse backgrounds and cultural as well as a different sexual perspective. Jordan began to realize her mistake in offensively gendering as well as insulting Larissa and began to apologize for her misbehavior, while Larissa's parasympathetic nervous system began to calm her racing heart, and then she accepted Jordan's apology and was grateful for Apple's support. The main perspective being brought to light included that misgendering and discriminating someone due to the ethnicity/culture is not only unethical, but also can physiologically and psychologically damage an individual's self-confidence and perpetrate their body to undergo a rapid response towards the effects of adrenaline, which could disrupt the body's other organ functions as well. Therefore, it is in the best interest to realize that standing up for what's right, being able to proudly represent your own identity, and not allowing your body and mental state to undergo through particular stressors are the fundamental factors towards improving our society as well as ourselves.
The end. Thank you for listening to our podcast.